The purple sun beat down on the crashed ship as Maya wiped sweat from her forehead and stared at the wreckage before her. She had been hiking through the Nevada desert when she saw the strange craft spiral from the sky and slam into the sand dunes. 3 miles from her campsite, now standing before the twisted metal, she could see movement inside through a shattered window. Maya climbed over the hot debris and peered into the darkness of the hull. A figure lay crumpled against the far wall, surrounded by flickering lights and sparking wires. The being was definitely not human. She had pale blue skin that shimmered like pearls underwater, and long silver hair that seemed to move on its own, even in the still air of the cabin. Her eyes were closed, but Maya could see her chest rising and falling in short, painful gasps. Without thinking, Maya grabbed a metal bar and pried open the damaged hatch. The heat inside was overwhelming, but she pushed through and knelt beside the alien woman. Up close, she could see the being was beautiful in a way that made her heart skip. Her features were elegant and delicate, with high cheekbones and full lips that were now turning a darker shade of blue. Maya gently touched her shoulder, and the alien's eyes fluttered. Open, they were enormous and completely silver without any visible pupil. The alien woman tried to speak, but only a weak sound came from her throat. Maya noticed a long gash on the alien's leg that was oozing thick purple blood. She quickly pulled off her jacket and pressed it against the wound to stop the bleeding. The alien woman grabbed Maya's wrist with surprising strength and pulled her closer. Her lips moved again, and this time a soft, melodic voice emerged. Speaking words Maya somehow understood. The young woman said her name was Zira, and that she was a princess from a world called Valana across the galaxy. Her ship had been attacked by raiders, and she barely escaped through a wormhole that brought her to Earth. Zira's grip tightened as she explained that the wound on her leg was not just a cut, but a poisoned blade strike from her attackers. The toxin was already spreading through her body, and without treatment, she would die within hours. Maya felt panic rise in her chest, but she forced herself to stay calm. She asked Zira what could be done, and the alien princess weakly pointed to a small device attached to her belt. Maya grabbed it, and Zira guided her trembling fingers to press a sequence of buttons on its surface. A holographic display appeared showing Zira's body with the poison highlighted as dark veins spreading from the wound. Zira explained in her fading voice that the only way to slow the poison was to remove it directly from the bloodstream before it reached her heart. Maya stared at the image and then back at Zira, with growing understanding of what had to be done. The alien princess looked into Maya's eyes with an intensity that made her breath catch. Zira said that Maya would need to create suction at the wound site to draw out the contaminated blood before the toxin spread further. Maya had heard of this method for snake bites back on Earth, though doctors said it rarely worked, but this was alien poison and alien biology, and Zira seemed certain it was the only chance. Maya nodded and carefully removed her jacket from the wound. The purple blood had slowed, but the dark veins were clearly visible, spreading up Zira's thigh toward her torso. She could see the alien's body shaking as the toxin worked its way through her system. Maya positioned herself and leaned down toward the wound. She pressed her lips to the pale blue skin around the gash and began to create suction. The taste was strange and metallic with a slight burning sensation, but she ignored it, and continued. Dark purple blood mixed with something thicker and oily came into her mouth, and she quickly turned to spit it onto the floor. Zira gasped, and her back arched as Maya worked. Maya repeated the process again and again, drawing out the poisoned blood and spitting it away. Her mouth burned and her head began to spin, but she refused to stop. Zira's hand found Maya's shoulder and squeezed weakly, as if to thank her. After what felt like hours, Maya finally pulled back and wiped her mouth. The dark veins had stopped spreading and were actually receding slightly from where they had been. Zira's breathing had become deeper and more regular. Maya sat back against the wall, exhausted, and watched as color slowly returned to Zira's face. The alien princess opened her eyes and looked at Maya with something like wonder. She reached up and touched Maya's cheek with fingers that were now warm instead of cold. Zira whispered that Maya had saved her life and that such a debt could never be repaid. Maya smiled weakly and said she was just glad she could help. Over the next few hours, as the sun began to set, Maya helped Zira move out of the wrecked ship to her campsite nearby. She set up her tent and helped the alien princess lie down on her sleeping bag. Zira was still weak, but the poison had been stopped in time. As Maya built a fire and prepared food, she could feel Zira's silver eyes watching her every movement. The alien princess asked questions about Earth and humans with genuine curiosity. Maya explained about her life as a wilderness guide and how she loved the freedom of the desert. Zira listened intently and then began to share stories of her own world. She described cities that floated among the clouds and oceans that glowed with bioluminescent life. She spoke of her people, the Villani, who valued honor and courage above all things. Maya found herself drawn into the stories and felt a connection forming between them that went beyond just rescuer and rescued. As night fell and stars filled the sky, Zira pointed up at a cluster of lights near the horizon. She said that was the direction of her homeworld, though it was too far away to see with human eyes. Maya asked if Zira wanted to go home, and the princess was quiet for a long moment. Zira finally said that she did miss her world, but that something about Earth and about Maya made her want to stay a while longer. Maya felt her heart beat faster at those words. Over the following days, Maya helped Zira recover her strength. The alien princess proved to be a quick learner and soon could navigate the desert almost as well as Maya. They hiked together through canyons and across dunes, sharing stories and laughter. Maya taught Zira about earth plants and animals, while Zira shared knowledge of advanced technology and cosmic wonders. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Zira reached into a hidden pocket of her suit and pulled out a small crystal. It glowed with an inner light that shifted through colors Maya had no names for. Zira explained that it was a bond crystal from her world, given only to those who had saved a Villani life. She pressed it into Maya's hand and closed her fingers around it. The crystal felt warm and seemed to pulse in rhythm with Maya's heartbeat. Zira said that, as long as Maya held the crystal, a part of Zira's essence would remain with her, no matter how far apart they became. Maya looked into Zira's silver eyes and saw an emotion there that transcended species. She realized that what had started as a rescue had become something deeper. That night they talked until dawn about the possibility of two beings from different worlds finding common ground. Zira admitted that her people had protocols about contact with less advanced species, but that she no longer cared about such rules. She had found something on Earth she never expected to find. Maya understood because she felt the same way. When morning came, Zira's ship computer finally managed to send out a distress signal that was picked up by a Villani patrol. Within hours, a rescue vessel appeared in the sky above them. Zira stood beside Maya and watched as the sleek craft descended. She turned to Maya and took both her hands in her own. Zira promised that this was not goodbye, but only the beginning. She said she would find a way to return to Earth and to Maya. The crystal would guide her back. Maya nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. She watched as Zira walked toward the rescue ship, then stopped and ran back. The alien princess pulled Maya into an embrace that felt both foreign and perfectly natural. Then Zira was gone, ascending into the ship that lifted silently into the sky and vanished among the stars. Maya stood alone in the desert, holding the glowing crystal and feeling its steady pulse. She knew that somewhere out there among those distant stars, Zira was holding an identical crystal and feeling the same connection. The desert had given her an adventure beyond imagination and a bond that crossed the cosmos. Maya smiled and tucked the crystal safely into her pocket. She had a feeling this was only the first chapter of a much longer story.